complete race average with 2 yellows, 170 miles an hour as we go back to green. Boiselle down in that order. There he is, down on the low side. Villeneuve comes up high, trying to come around one of the Pac West cars, looking for an opportunity.
And you caught a glimpse at the restart of Robbie Gordon, who's already 1 lap down. He needs to make a full lap before he even thinks about getting another lap back on Boiselle to get back in the fight.
Young Jean Villeneuve very much in pursuit now, trying to carve through traffic as Boiselle closes on Teo Fabi. He's got Goodyear in there as well. Villeneuve still about 8 cars back. There's Stefan Johansson closing in on the 17 car of Dominic Dobson, but Jack makes his move to the high side.
And it was a decisive move. Johansson, who had out-qualified all the factory Penske's, ran very well in qualifying. Not on the pace here. Villeneuve was superb on Friday. Oh, he's in the wall!
Oh, no! You know, not dissimilar, though different placement of the cars from the accident involving Michael Andretti. He'd just come around, 7th place Stefan Johansson, skates up to the wall and grabs it. He had such a great run at the Indianapolis 500. Rookie of the year there, leading the rookie points. He's cut off the whole right-hand side of the car. He appears to be okay. He's moving around in the cockpit, so that's good news. Once again, the engineering of the cars has really protected the driver here.
And now, Robbie Gordon, one of our early pace setters in particular. If Boiselle is picked up by the pace car, Gordon goes all the way around and makes up most of the lap, but he needs 1 more. It also allows Mario, Al Jr., Emerson and Goodyear to catch up behind those leaders. We could see this coming. He turns into 3 and out of the groove and smacks and destroys the right side of the car, but hopefully he is okay.
He is traveling at that time across that 780 feet of new asphalt that Penske Speedway's laid down there. Safety crew is keeping Jack in the car, and I assume that this is just precautionary because he was moving around fine at first, but no, they've got the cutting tools on the right side.
He may be pinned in that car. The right front wheel, very often in that side impact, comes in through the monocoque and traps the driver.
Puts you in mind almost of Brian Herta's accident at Toronto.
Watch him go into turn 3, and as he goes onto the new surface, there is a puff of something comes from the right side of Villeneuve's car. Watch what happens right here. Here's the surface change. Oh.
Bottomed.
Oh, I think he got a puncture. I think he had a puncture. He certainly had a mechanical failure of some sort that sent Jacques Villeneuve very, very hard into that outside wall.
No question at the right rear set down. Here's another angle of it. Watch the right rear.
Very clear in that shot. Something broke in the right rear of that car. The top hits the ground, sits down, and Villeneuve, unfortunately, has no control and just clouts that outside wall so hard when you're running at speeds of 240
IndyCar officials are
miles an hour.
saying that he has non-threatening injuries. I don't see any injuries at all, so that's good news. As Dr. Terry Trammell, look at him. He gives a wave to the crowd. Dr. Trammell walks him away. Let's go to Jerry Gerald.
Well, here's some more good news. Michael Andretti, after a quick stop at the infield hospital, okay. Can you tell us now what happened? Because it looked like you had everybody covered today, Michael.
Yeah, we were really hooked up, and we made a change after the first pit stop, and after that we were just gone. You know, I picked up about 5 miles an hour, and I just was coming up on, I think it was Emerson and Robbie Gordon, and they were in a battle, and I guess Robbie, it looked like Robbie went up in front of Emerson and made Emerson get on the brakes, and I had a head of steam coming behind him, and I locked up my front to miss him and put me up into the gray, and then I was up in the marbles and I couldn't turn, and it just hit the wall. Another 2 feet wider, and I probably would have made it.
So many times we talk about the emotions of the up and down, the elation of the last race in Toronto, back in the championship points hunt, and here you are now, and in great disappointment, but you're not alone. A lot of people having problems here.
Yeah, they are, but you see the Penske's are running pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah. And with that little gleam in his eye, oh boy, it tells a lot. Let's go to Jan.
Well, Gary, in the Jacques Villeneuve incident, we need to look at why he was able to get out of that car without necessarily the same kind of work as with the Lola. As this front suspension gets pushed back into the car itself, there's something different in a Reynard than you have in a Lola. If we go inside the cockpit, we have an opportunity to see on their gear shift, they use an actual cable instead of linkage. This is what's been hurting the drivers and breaking legs and pelvises here recently, because the Lola has an actual metal linkage as opposed to a flexible cable. That really helped in the case of Jacques Villeneuve.
By the way, speaking of injuries, a couple of updates as they still pick up debris here. Here are the cars that are out of race thus far. Some fairly major names. The early leader, Mansell. The fire on Fernandez's car. Both of the Rahal Hogan's car. Fernandez and their crew member have both been treated and released right here at the track medical facility. And most recently, Michael Andretti, a leader of the race at the time, and Jacques Villeneuve. And let's just update on Brian Herta, who is out of the hospital in Indianapolis, Indiana, and going through therapy there. Alessandro Zampedri was involved in a practice accident here. Possible fracture to his pelvis and a bruised liver. That's why he's not in the run here in Michigan. Tonight, Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. The Oakland A's, led by power hitter Ruben Sierra, travel to Detroit to meet with home run hitter Cecil Fielder with 25 this season. Sunday Night Baseball from Tiger Stadium tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern. Under yellow at the Marlboro 500 at Michigan. It is our third of the day. This time it's Jacques Villeneuve. He's with Gary Gerould.
Getting ready to go into the medical center for a checkup. You appear to be okay, Jacques. Can you tell us about how this set up and what happened?
Yeah, getting into the corner, I don't know if it's the rear that collapsed or something went under the car, but the left front of the car went up in the air and just went straight in the wall, so I don't really know what happened. But the monocoque came on me and I was stuck. My hand was stuck in between the monocoque and the steering, and my suit was inside the carbon, and so I took all the impact with the shoulder and everything.
Did you see the wheel that came back over your head?
No, I didn't see that. I don't know. I don't really know what happened exactly. I just know the front left went up in the air.
Now, yesterday you had a problem with the wheel bearing that went out on the car, and also there was the problem, the fix from Friday involving the rear suspension. Are you concerned that it could have been some type of structural failure?
I don't think it was that, because if it was something like that, I would have made a spin and lost the rear end. So I don't think it was something like that. Just maybe something bent underneath and raised the front. I don't know what it is.
Well, a memorable first visit to the banks of Michigan. We're just delighted that you're okay.
Well, thank you.
All right. He heads in for further treatment with Dr. Olvey and company here, and we'll send it back to Paul.
That's his first DNF since his accident at Phoenix.
And I just have a quick comment to make about Michael Andretti. So we know he jumped on the brakes, but consider this: all the front-running cars here run carbon fiber brakes on this particular racetrack, a super speedway. Michael probably used his left foot. When you stab the brakes with carbon fiber, they bite so severely, watch it here, instantly smokes those front tires for an instant, and that's it. You lose your steering, you lose your line, you're out of the groove, and you smack the concrete. That may have contributed to him hitting the wall.
So under unusual circumstances, two leaders of this race, Nigel Mansell and now Michael Andretti out, and one of the contenders, Jacques Villeneuve, also out. We are still under our third yellow. At the Marlboro 500, lap 84 being completed under the yellow. The nice smile, Raul Boesel is the leader of the race. Will he be smiling like that at the end of the day? In second place is Mario Andretti. Al Unser Jr. has moved up into third position, as has his Penske teammate Emerson Fittipaldi, closed in, now running in fourth. Former winner of the Marlboro 500, Scott Goodyear, sits in fifth place. And a rookie here, despite all of his starts at Indianapolis, but his first start here, the fastest rookie, Dominic Dobson, sits in sixth position.
And we're on board with Robbie Gordon. He needs some help here. His fastest lap so far is only in the 2:23 range. The three fastest cars are all in the 2:25s. So Gordon does not have enough speed yet.
Now remember the fire in the Gallus pits. Adrian Fernandez jumping out of the car. He's with Gary Gerould.
Well, Adrian Fernandez, we reported were okay. You told us you were all right. They've checked you out and your crew. Everybody seems to be okay. What was that moment like when you sat there strapped in that cockpit and all of a sudden there's this horrendous fire?
Well, first I you know, they first the problem was that we were missing some of our crew members because one was having a baby. So we changed the guys. So Owen went to the rear tire. So what happened was he gave me the go ahead when the fuel was still on. So when I pulled, the car was a little bit. So then it's when the thing was starting to flame, and then it's when I started to feel inside a lot of heat. And somebody struck me out. I went out of the car, and somebody from the Newman Haas team just poured me out of water. So I thank them for that.
Well, we're thankful that you're all right. Now, as far as the race was concerned, you were running up there in the top 5 and looked like you had a great afternoon going.
Yeah, my car was great. When we restarted the race after that yellow flag, the way I was passing people, I knew my car was good. I passed, and then I was starting to pass Fittipaldi and then Paul Tracy. My car was working so good. So it's a shame, but we're here for a long time. So the good thing is that everybody in the team is okay.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Adrian.
Thank you.
Shows you how closely knit these teams are. Owen Snyder, who normally is on the right front, wasn't there, and it's just enough of a confusion as they head out to cause a serious problem for Adrian Fernandez. We'll be back. Many surprises here today for this gigantic crowd that sits under a beautiful blue sky. Some clouds up there, but it's nice and warm. Track temperature is about 110 degrees when they started this race. We are under our 3rd yellow of the day. These IndyCar safety teams and crews, they do a lot of work throughout the year to make sure that these cars are safe, but they go to great lengths to ensure the safety of the drivers most effectively. Gary Gerould explains IndyCar's state-of-the-art emergency facilities.
When an on-track incident occurs, there's an immediate response from at least one of 3 safety vehicles manned by a doctor and 3 paramedics who are also skilled as firefighters and extrication specialists. The safety trucks carry hydraulic extrication equipment that can be used to free drivers trapped in a damaged race car, as well as chemical fire retardant and water. Video cameras atop the safety trucks record the response and rescue efforts for later reassessment and evaluation. From the incident scene, a driver is transported to the IndyCar Medical Center, a 40-foot coach that serves as a small hospital emergency room on wheels. Here, orthopedic and trauma surgeons continue efforts to stabilize the condition of the injured party while evaluating needs for possible off-site treatment. The medical staff has at its disposal X-ray equipment, ventilation devices to control breathing, defibrillators and cardiac monitors, IV fluids, chest tubes, and advanced cardiac life support drugs. Virtually everything you'd find in a hospital emergency room to handle anything from minor injuries to full trauma. Should further treatment be necessary, helicopter transport is available to airlift the injured driver to a local medical center. IndyCar officials are justifiably proud of their safety team, and plans are being finalized for an expanded state-of-the-art medical facility 5 times larger than the existing version.
You won't find better dedication than you find on the safety crews of the IndyCars. There is that safety coach sitting back in the garage area here.
I've been there. I've used every one of those facilities. You can't imagine what a comfort it is to see the faces that you recognize of the safety team, because you know you're in good hands, particularly because you're normally in deep, deep trouble when they arrive.
We're a little over a lap from a green flag if everybody gets back on station in terms of the safety crews. They are lined up, of course, behind the PPG pace car in an order with Raul Boesel, the leader of the race, followed by Mario Andretti, Al Unser Jr., Emerson Fittipaldi, Scott Goodyear, Dominic Dobson. There's Dick Simon. He's the car owner on Raul's car. Never had a win either when he was as a driver or as a car owner. Years and years in this sport, over 25 years. And Dick Simon could be looking at his first win today. But remember, we are only on the 88th lap of 250, 19